coming to you live this morning from the grasslands. This is Video Games, a comedy show. My name is Jeremy Schmidt. I'll be your host for today. Folks, you know, all month we've been on our Road to Rebirth, as I've been calling it, formerly titled One Winged Memories. That was a bad title. That was more confusing. Road to Rebirth, objectively better. It's here now. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is out, and we're going to talk about it today. This is our first impressions episode. I couldn't do it alone. I have two incredible mooglets here with me. We have, of course, the beautiful Garrett Morlang from Super Gamer Boys. Hello, Garrett.
Hi.
Hi. Okay. Are you, I don't think you haven't been on the show, right? On this year.
The last time I've been with you was the good old Game of the Year discussion. So,
oh yes, yeah, we love that. Okay, here's your sound effect for 2020.
Thank you.
4. Okay, here we go. And
Requesting permission to kill.
okay, look, guys, I haven't figured out my levels here. Okay, so that it distorted a little bit, but suffice it to say,
that was perfect. I think you should actually
good.
Edit that in so it always peaks. Like it just has that distortion every time it plays.
Permission to kill.
It's still peaking, but you get it. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Unfortunately, anyone who came on the show in the last 2 months, they're just getting Final Fantasy stuff. There's just no two ways about it. We also have, of course, the incredible Matt Apodaca here. Hello.
Hi. Hello. Remind me, have I been on this year? It feels like I have.
No, you haven't.
No, I haven't?
Okay. No, you haven't. So I have a new sound effect for you, but I am going to try to... yeah, that's good. There. And then... Okay, here we go. Ready?
I was just like trying to temper the expectation. Like, should I, like, have I heard this before, or am I about to be surprised in the same way? And I guess I'm about to be surprised.
I think
we're both getting hurt today.
To be surprised.
Okay.
Don't worry, I've got this.
Honestly, not bad. That's good. I like that. That's kind of the energy that I bring. I think that's fine.
Yeah,
this is good.
Big wedge energy, right?
I love Wedge. I love the character, the salad, potato. Give me all you got. Yeah.
The voice actor, Badger from Breaking Bad.
Badger, that's right. Matt Jones, that's right. Yeah, really good. Great performance.
Yeah. I worked with Matt Jones on something one time, and
I've emailed him, but that's kind of it.
I love that guy.
Seems like a nice man.
He came over to my house. We were doing like VO stuff.
Oh wow! Was it for the game? Were you recording him for the game?
No, he had a podcast pilot that I was sort of working on, and I don't know if it went anywhere, but it was a really funny idea. It was like
tales all this time. You make these things, and sometimes they go, and sometimes they don't.
Sometimes they go, sometimes they don't.
Ain't that the biz?
Oh man, yeah. Garrett, you don't know anything about that. You don't live in LA.
I don't know the biz at all. No,
lucky,
not at all.
Yeah, you're lucky. You get to live like a regular life for regular
life in San Diego.
Oh,
Just chilling on the beach. That's what I do all day.
Yeah.
Just hang out at the beach.
Yeah.
And all of those with Tom DeLonge and the rest,
and Lithgow. You almost said Lithgow there.
Yeah.
Oh, fellas, what a day! What a weekend it's been. This game dropped on Wednesday, 9 p.m. I didn't start playing until my physical copy, though, got to my house on Thursday.
Yeah, you kind of can't start playing if you get the physical copy. You can't actually start playing it until you get it. So you have to wait for them to get it to you. That's kind of like the one thing they don't really tell you.
And you know what? At this point, I feel like they could just, email me, let me know that that's what I'm going to have to do. Instead, I'm just sitting there with my controller.
Can I start?
It seems like no.
I do think, I don't know if I've talked to you about this before. I think physical copies should also come with a digital copy.
Yeah, right? Like Blu-rays?
Yeah, like Blu-rays. It should be like, that's yours to do with whatever you want. You could give it to a friend.
Ooh.
You keep it so that you don't have to keep putting the disc in, but the disc should have the game on it, and the digital copy should have the game on it. So then, or maybe you keep the digital code, you lend the disc to a friend. That's nice.
Yeah, because you know what I don't like is having to keep the disc in the machine.
Get the disc out of there.
Yeah. I also got one of
those. I want the disc.
Yeah. I want it, but I just don't want it in the machine. I want it on the shelf. I got one of the big boys too.
You got the deluxe.
The deluxe, yeah.
I was we'll get into this, but
Wait,
there
the
was like
deluxe Final
a couple.
Fantasy?
Yeah,
it comes with,
yeah.
like all this fancy special.
The
Yeah.
edition. It had like an art book. It actually came
Wow.
with a compact disc with the
Wow.
music.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't
how do you
know
even
if-
play that now?
I don't know. I don't even know if
I
my
don't know.
car has a CD player.
My car doesn't have a CD
My car
player.
doesn't
I
have
don't
that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Donate to Goodwill.
Fancy coaster sounds like.
Yeah. Also, it's probably on Spotify.
It's probably on Spotify and it has probably more songs there.
You get that deluxe
There was like
edition.
I guess I was always going to get this game, but up until a couple months ago, there was like a higher than 0% chance that I maybe wasn't going to. So I kind of missed my window on the deluxe. I played through the original like a month ago and then blasted through the remake. And then now here we are.
Matt, we're actually going to spend some time on what you did. Because
great.
we got to drill into that. Because that's,
Okay.
to me, that's what I call the good shit. You know?
Okay, because for a second I kind of thought I was in trouble. Like,
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
agree that maybe it sounded like I was
tisk,
like
tisk.
about to get reprimanded? Yeah, I was gonna get to
What
yeah.
a rug pull. You thought,
We're gonna talk about what you did. I'm already like, oh god, I already made my friend mad.
Matt,
Yeah,
you've
shoot.
earned yourself a demerit. Money.
Hell yeah, that rocks.
Getting mixed signals.
yeah.
Okay, Garrett, I want to hear, though, just quickly from both of you guys, if there is other games you were playing before this game came out that maybe you're going to go back to when you're done with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Garrett, let's start with you. Do you have anything that you were chomping away on before this game came out?
Yes, and it was actually a surprise game to me because it was a game I was not necessarily interested in up until all my friends are like, "Hey, you need to go buy Helldivers 2 right now."
Oh yes, dog.
Yeah.
Oh man, I never played I had played very little of the original. But my co-host Adrian, he loved the original, played on Vita, all that. And so for me, like when all the trailers are coming out for the new one, I'm just like, whatever, it's fine. Like I wasn't a fan of like the top-down isometric kind of gameplay of it. It was hard. I don't like hard games. I'm bad at games. Everyone knows that. So I was like, nah, I'm good. But everyone's like, no, you gotta get it. So we picked it up, and let me tell you, I cannot stop playing Helldivers 2. Actually, tomorrow night I have a date night with the boys. We'll be playing some more
Hell yeah.
Helldivers 2. So
Baby.
man, that game is so good. It's because a lot of these multiplayer or live service games, that what you want to call it,
Mhm.
just like these online, and it's from the outside looking like repetitive. It's like you do a mission, you get out. I get bored of that stuff really easy. I have what I call video game ADHD, where most games, I don't finish a lot of games. I get in there, I really enjoy quite a few hours of it, and then I get out and I never see the end of the story. I don't know how it ends.
Sure.
But with Helldivers, or even like multiplayer games, same thing. I'll get in there, I'm like, all right, this is fun, but I move on. Man, like that loop is so fantastic with
Yeah.
the variety in the in the worlds, the different biomes and stuff like that, as well as just like enemy placement, the different mission styles. Like you can mix it up. Like I want to do a long mission, I want to do a short mission. There's just a plethora of the stratagems you can choose from, gear you can choose from. I don't know. It's scratching that itch really, really well, and I'm really loving just dropping bombs on my friends. It's fun to just
cheap
fight-
too, right?
fight-
That game's
fight
kind of
back.
cheap. It's like
It's like $40.
40 bucks. Yeah.
yeah, not bad.
That's
not bad.
nothing.
Yeah, PS5 and
That's
Steam, and I think it has crossplay too, which is great. We've all been
Mhm.
playing on PC, but it's like, man, fun for the whole family.
Yeah, sure. Friend of the show, Charlie Mihalik, is a big fan.
My boy.
Trying to get a squad together. Thinking about hitting him up, being like, let's squad up. Matt, are you playing?
Let's do it.
I am playing it, so if that squad happens, let me know, because I'm very down with it. But the thing that I like about it too is that I don't feel pressure to keep playing that game. It's not like the story part of it I don't really care about. I kind of just like how fun it is. So
Exactly.
like I can just kind of put it down and then be like, you know what? I'll come back to it someday. I don't feel like the rush to like complete that. Like even if you
Yeah, I don't
can
even
you?
know.
Like
I guess if you liberate all the planets, but will that ever happen? Probably.
Yeah, I mean, fingers crossed.
Yeah, can
The
we
way things are
please
going, I don't
liberate
know.
those planets, guys?
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
on.
For democracy.
Yeah.
I call those forever games. You know, they're just kind of spinning forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there a single player in that game?
Well, you can play solo, but it teams you up with other people. You're always online. That's an always online game as far as I know. So yeah, there's not like an actual story or single player mode, but yeah, man, it's so fun. And that's the thing. Like multiplayer games aren't my jam, but Helldivers, really got me.
Matthew, I know you
Yes.
were playing a bunch of Final Fantasy before this Final Fantasy, but
Yes.
anything else cooking in the old house?
I just finished Baldur's Gate 3 actually. So
that's big. That's
that took me some time. I took some time off of Baldur's Gate 3 to play Final Fantasy 7 actually, like to get involved and to so I can catch up to it. And then it turned out I didn't have that much Baldur's Gate 3 left. Like I probably had like 10, 15 hours like left. And like so it took that's not nothing. Like it was still like
That's
a nice
still a
chunk.
lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a lot.
I have very little gaming
in,
time in my
Yeah.
life. I'm a dad, I got work, stuff like that. So for me,
Yeah.
it's like 10,
That's
15
a whole
hours. I'm like,
Uncharted game.
that's like
left-
2
left to
months.
play.
Yes, yeah. But I guess compared to the time put in, it was like a drop in the bucket kind
totally.
of.
Yeah.
But I loved it so much, and that's a game that I felt good about like putting like I was really, really into it, and I was happy to like if I had to take a break from it, put it down, and because the gameplay is so like simple, where like I'm not trying to remember like button combinations to like or how to play the game or whatever. It's all just like UI. So I'm like, okay, I know what moves I have. It's just moving around basically. I know what to do. There's not a learning curve for rejoining the game. Whereas like I just put in I had been slightly just in between things because I had finished that. I caught up to all the Final Fantasy stuff. Rebirth there was like a day where I was like, I don't have a game to play because Rebirth is out tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I tossed in Elden Ring, which I had finished that last year or whatever.
The Elden
whenever.
Beast.
Yeah, I became the Elden Lord. That's right.
Wow.
And you can't just go back in there.
No.
I was
You gotta
getting my
start at the
shit
beginning.
wrecked by
You
like
gotta
easy
start at the beginning.
guys. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So like I have to like, and the DLC is coming out in June, so I have to once Rebirth is done, I got to get back into Elden Ring and like relearn how to play.
R1, R2. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean
That's
gotta
the
get
name
ready
of
for
the
that
game.
DLC.
There. R1,
Yeah.
R2.
and then by the same token, L1 and L2 as well. Actually,
Yes.
if
my
we're being
dude.
honest,
Yes. And if I'm being honest, Circle.
Circle's in there as
Circle.
well. Yeah.
Circle. It's a good one.
But I also started a new save on Pokemon X after the Pokemon Presents
yeah.
came out because that was pretty exciting to me. I'm a big I loved Pokemon Legends Arceus so much. I like it's. I was like, they need to do more of this. And when it seemed like they weren't going to, I was like, my dream is done because I loved it so much. And then the only good announcement they had at this Pokemon Presents was a new Legends entry set in.
You're not excited for the trading cards on your phone?
You know what? I
I'm
actually
excited
am
for
excited for that. That seems cool. I'll check in on that.
I guess
but I don't
maybe-
care about Cafe Mix or
I guess maybe I don't understand the trade because I thought is it do you actually get to play the trading card game or is it just collecting them because they already have
You get to play.
okay
get
because
to
they already
both.
have a playable trading card game on the phone so it just seems weird to make a second one. I don't know. I was confused.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, it's called Pokemon trading card game live or something like that. Pokemon
Yeah.
Live. So it's already
I was
on
messing
the-
with that for a little bit.
So-
Maybe it's just like this is maybe just a little more. Maybe they refined it somehow or something. Or maybe this one has more things for you to buy.
Spend money on.
Yeah. They're like, wait, there's not a way really for them to spend money in this one. We got to make it so they can spend all their money.
Make the money.
So what's that world called? Kalos?
Yes.
Yeah. How's Kalos?
It's pretty. I hadn't. That's one I haven't revisited. So like, I started a new game in there, and I was like, oh, this is fun. I probably only played through that one time, whereas the other ones in the past, I'd go through it again and again because like I just didn't have like a bunch of DS games, so I'd be like, you know what, maybe it's time to dust off one of these bad boys. But this one is. It's really, really good. I have to. That's probably like a nighttime situation, right before bed. Kind of just like this isn't too intense or anything like that. But that's kind of it. I think.
That's a good amount. That's enough.
I'd like to get back. I'd like to do another playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3 at some point because I loved it. But
I love how
don't know
everything you've mentioned is massive too. Every game you've mentioned is like a massive commitment.
It's sickening.
Like Pokemon is a lot too.
Yeah. It's not for the faint of heart, certainly.
I like that X
I
and
wish
Y game though. I like that one.
Yeah, I wish I was playing a game that could get taken down in like 10 hours. That'd be nice.
Oh boy, I recommend that Mario versus Donkey Kong game.
Oh, I have
a
Super Mario RPG, and I haven't even started that.
Oh, that's great too. Both of those are pretty breezy. I would say 10 to 12, you're out.
I dropped off of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown as well. I was loving that.
Connor really liked that game.
Yeah,
I wanna mess around with that.
It's really, really fun. But I fell off. There's just too many. There's too many games. It's my biggest complaint.
Too many games.
Although there's not a lot this year. This year's pretty empty, so we got time to catch up.
I'm actually gonna finish all these. It's gonna be a nice year for catching up.
Yeah. This Rebirth game. I mean, we'll get into it in a second, but it feels like it's gonna be pretty massive. Like it feels like it's gonna be like a Witcher situation of just like a lot of time you can sink into it. Probably.
See it next year, I guess.
Yeah. See.
See you next year, I guess.
See you next year, I guess. Yeah. So I've been. I guess I was messing around with Final Fantasy stuff as well, leading up till Rebirth. I didn't play the original game, but I played the remake, the DLC, and Crisis Core. All great. Had a good old time with that. And I don't know. I thought about turning on that Splatoon DLC. I thought about maybe looking at the Splatoon. Remember Splatoon?
I've never played it.
What game? Sorry.
Oh, Splatoon.
Yeah. No, it seems like it's fun. I just don't have a way in. I think if it was like, can you play like couch co-op or like couch multiplayer?
No, and you can't even play really online multiplayer with how Nintendo does it. It's kind of just like dead all the time, server crash all the time. Then
I'm just like, I just don't think I'll ever play this. I was gonna say if it was like a couch multiplayer thing, somebody had it at their house, I'd give it a try.
Yeah,
but
it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's like that.
Sounds like it doesn't work, Jeremy. Sounds like you can't play it the way you want to play it.
Yeah, so I guess I'm kind of lying. It actually isn't fun because you can't really play it. It looks fun. In theory, it would be fun if it worked.
I don't like making a mess. That's
extremely fun-looking game.
It's a messy situation there.
Yeah, I don't like doing that.
Oh, I have a game for you then. You would love Foam Stars on PlayStation that just came out. It's Splatoon, but with soap bubbles. So there.
Okay, that's good. You're doing cleaning
at
actually.
Least, soap is clean.
Soap's very clean.
Okay, I'm busting at the seams here. I need to talk about this Final Fantasy Rebirth
busting.
Game. As Paul Rudd says in that new Ghostbusters trailer, busting makes me feel good.
I saw that trailer yesterday. I didn't
Nobody
laugh.
laughed at what I just said.
Some people laughed really big, like it was like the funniest thing they've ever heard.
Were you watching Dune yesterday?
I saw Dune, yeah. Maybe it was. I also I don't even want to get into this, but I think AMC audiences need to go back to etiquette school for going to the movies. People loving the little commercial with Nicole Kidman and stuff has made the audience feel like we're just kind of hanging out here, and actually I'm there to do business.
Right. Well,
I'm there to see a serious movie. Yeah.
Did you guys notice they changed the Nicole Kidman AMC?
Yeah, there's 3 new ones, I guess.
Oh, there's 3 new ones here.
Yeah.
Okay, I saw one, and it was just like a very subtle difference. It was like they changed one of the movies she's watching, and then she says like it's magic.
Yes, mine. They changed 2 of the movies. It was Elvis and Avatar: The Way of Water.
Yes,
and then she did say that's magic, but she like looked right at you, like into your soul.
Right. Yeah.
And I think maybe that made just make people be like, I guess I could just like, she looked right at us. I can just kind of do whatever I want, I guess.
She just gave me permission in that look to do just whatever crazy idea I had.
I felt like people laughed when they saw Austin Butler come out in the movie. And I'm like, it's not funny that he's here. He's actually like a scary guy.
Dude, I don't know. The whole time he's on screen, I was just like profoundly disturbed by Austin Butler.
I mean, this is not a Dune 2 recap podcast, but I must say that
But Cloud and Barrett are in the movie. We should
Cloud
say.
and Barrett are in the movie, and there is a post-credit scene with Red 13, which is pretty interesting. Going in, I've only seen him in Elvis. I thought he was good in that bad movie. I was like, the movie's bad, but I think he's good in it.
Yeah.
Going into this, I was like, does he have the juice? I was like, I don't really know if he has the juice. And I'm happy to report, I think he's got the juice.
He's got the juice. Yeah. I feel like, and my thing is I'm always struggling with Timothée.
Timothée, yeah.
I'm always really interested in the next thing I'm going to see because I feel like he has to get better, like as time goes on,
Yeah.
Okay.
And in this movie,
not a fan of Timothée, huh?
well, I love the projects he chooses, and he's great in Call Me by Your Name. But everything I've seen after that, I'm like, I don't. He has the Leo thing, the young Leo thing, where you just don't quite believe he's the aviator,
Okay.
So
my thing with him is I like him so much in movies, and then when I see him not in movies, I'm like, this guy needs to stop. Like, just he's it's such a valley between him as a movie star and him as a just guy.
Yeah.
He's like such a nerd too, video game nerd. He's like us. I don't like that. I don't like that he's like us.
I don't like that he's like us. Modding controllers.
Cease and desist.
Yeah. Now, if he wants to squat up in Helldivers 2, I'm down. You know?
For sure.
Totally.
Yeah. But I liked him in this movie, and I thought the movie was great. But that's all I'll say about it.
I loved it. I did feel like Austin Butler comes in and he's acting with Timothée, and my thing is like, oh no, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for Timothée.
Oh no.
Austin's doing circles around him.
Austin's eating his lunch.
He's eating his dang lunch. Great film. I took my wife to see that, and she hasn't even seen the first Dune, and she's just like, I don't want to go, but her friends all took us, and so she's like, okay, I'm in. She freaking loved it, and I knew she would. She likes goth stuff. Don't you guys feel like Dune is kind of goth?
Yeah, it's at least goth adjacent. It's like the type, because like goths will go to the beach, but they'll kind of just wear all their goth stuff,
like the Fremen.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that. Yeah. No, I went by myself because we tried to watch the first one here, and my fiance did fall asleep and had no interest in seeing the new one. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go. That's fine.
Yeah, this one was really, really great. Anyways, we got too many big, huge, cool franchises to talk about. Matt, I gotta get into this with you. Chop it up for us. How was that playing the original game? How did that feel?
It was like, I'm glad I did it, right? Because it is this like totemic work. Obviously, like it's remade, so it's like
Googling totemic right now. Don't know what that means. Totemic.
It's like iconic, it's like one of a kind. It's like it's its own thing, and I fell in love with the characters. The story is amazing. I knew so much about it going in, but like feels like I also knew nothing. Like there are so many surprises. Like I guess just like in general, like just the overall like it's overtly political. It's overtly like pro climate like activism. Like I was like this, I didn't know this much about it. Like that's like really interesting. That in 1997 in Japan, they were like, hey, you know, I think humanity is destroying our planet. Let's make a video game about that. That's really interesting to think about. And I loved it. I did play with like some of the modern conveniences turned on.
Sure.
I was zipping around that map at 3 times speed.
Wow.
I was
where'd you play it at? Like,
I played it on my Switch.
Okay.
And so that also made it easier too, because I was just like taking it, like if I had like a free like half hour, I was like, oh, I'll just kind of bust this out. I took it to the urgent care when I was sick. I was like, playing it in the lobby while I waited at Kaiser for 3 hours.
Frick, dude.
But I got a lot done there. And that is where I did see the big scene. And I was like, I can't cry here.
Yeah, I'm too sick.
Yeah, I'm too sick. And, everyone else is crying because it's a horrible place to be here. But it was so great that I wasn't going to do it. Yeah. Like, I was going to just jump into Remake. I was like, I think it's fine. And then, because I bought Remake when it came out. And
wow.
Played it for a few hours.
It took that long for the disc to get to you, huh?
The disc took so long. This is the thing. And I couldn't start playing it until I had the disc.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I actually bought it digitally because it came out in the pandemic, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so
was it 2020, 2021?
I think so.
2020?
Yeah.
Somewhere around.
And
2020. It came out
2020?
before the
2020.
PS5 came out, which is in
Right.
2020.
yes. And so I remember buying it and being like, okay, this will distract me. Like, I'll do this now. Because the Last of Us 2 had come out already, right? And Animal Crossing
That was
maybe
too
had been out.
depressing, though.
But I did finish that in like 2 weeks, and it ruined my life.
Yeah, we were playing a lot of games, but I remember playing through Doom Eternal like as soon as it came out, like in one day, or just like anything distract me.
Yeah, but so I got this, and it just didn't connect with me, and I just kind of put it down. But then once I finished the original Final Fantasy VII, jumped back in, started a new game in Remake. Turns out if you have just a little bit of context, I connected with it a lot more, because I was like, oh, these are all my friends.
Yeah.
This is my squad, and now they're here.
And they look awesome.
And they look awesome. And the gameplay is more fun to me.
I was always so curious for like again, bring up Connor McCabe. He's somebody who, I guess he did play the first disc of it. But people who haven't finished that game, like what do they think when they're coming into this? Because I will say they are doing like these big these big moments that are in reverence to all these characters, and in some cases very, very minor characters that you wouldn't even you might not even remember from the original game,
So that's me. I haven't played the original one.
Oh, wow.
I've never played the original Final Fantasy VII.
Whoa. For some reason I thought you had.
No.
But that's, well, great.
It's crazy.
Okay, so
I'm
what is this like when you're like playing the remake and it's like, I guess you're not like going to Jesse's house and being like, well, this is new.
Yeah, no, it's like, there's a lot of the story I already kind of have picked up, just because it's also like a 25-year-old game. It's been around forever. So it's like, I've seen videos, I've seen clips, I've heard spoilers. So like, I know like bits and pieces of the story and stuff.
So when you went in, you weren't like, why does this guy Sephiroth have bangs? You like kind of already knew.
I don't know. Like, this is Sephiroth. This is what he looks like.
That was one of the most confusing parts if you don't know, actually.
Yeah. And they never explain
Really?
why he has bangs.
Yeah. Now I'm curious. Man.
You'll have to go back and play the original.
Gotta play the original.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. For me, like I fell in love with these games though, just from remake, like without any context from the original one. And it has made the story a little more, I don't know. I get a lot of cliff notes, I guess, from Adrian. Adrian's kind of my Sherpa in all this. It's been great.
Sure.
He just keeps telling me, he's like, just play the original. I'm like, nah, I don't have time for that, Adrian. That's what you're here for. But I don't know. I feel like I'm still having like even this remake being my only exposure to this franchise, like first, from my own experience, still like falling in love with these characters. And like even like with losing the other Avalanche members, I'm blanking on their names now, like Jesse, like Wedge, having like that crew, like the loss of them in remake, and I don't know, like losing it's different big moments, even just in remake, even not having the context like in the previous like experience of these characters. They've done such a good job, I guess, translating like so much of this character development in these relationships in such a smaller package, like without me having to have prior knowledge of these characters. I can still jump in the remake and be like, oh my gosh, I love this character. I couldn't imagine if they died off or whatever. So I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely not getting the whole picture of the story, which again, more and more makes me want to play the original. Because that's even something with like, well, I mean, I don't know if we'll talk about it with Rebirth. Like right at the beginning, Adrian was in the stream when I was streaming it the other night, and he's like, whoa, like the beginning of Rebirth kind of almost, I guess, kind of the whole multi timeline thing that we were theorizing with remake, like even like blows that up even more to like,
yes,
there's maybe more going on than we realize, like more timelines than we thought as well. And it's just like, what the heck? Like, so yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing. I mean, I would say like there's a few pretty good reasons to play the original, and like Matt, like that's really cool coming in like fresh off.
Yeah, that's
like,
wild. Like,
because
right
now
before.
these set pieces mean a lot more to you than like you know, if it was played in like the distant memory. Like I've played the game a bunch. It used to be my favorite game, but even I'm like Zangan, and I have to like Google like Zangan, and I'm like, oh yeah, he was that like guy with the cape in the game. You know, like there are still some things that I don't really remember, but I would say the other reason to play the original is because this one is obviously riffing on being a sequel, kind of. So you like, you know, if you've played through that original story, it's really exciting to see when they sometimes zig when you think they're going to zag. Sometimes you think like, oh, this is going to happen, and then something else happens. Yeah.
There's this like kind of, I don't know if it's like what to actually call it, like a phenomena.
Buster Sword.
Oh, it's like Buster Sword. Thank you. There's this like Buster Sword of a like, it's like are you guys familiar with Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I've heard of it. Yeah.
This guy?
Yeah, this guy. And don't say what we did.
You'll have to watch the video.
Yeah. In Neon Genesis Evangelion, it ends right a certain way, but then there's the movie, The End of Evangelion, which fills in some of the gaps, right? But then there are these new movies called it's the Evangelion Rebuild Project. So they're like remakes of the series as movies, but they're sort of like aware, kind of in some ways, that they are remakes, that they are reliving some parts of the same story, or like things have happened, but they're aware that it's like a little different also. And I don't know what this is called. There's like a thing for it. There must be, because it's not. It's crazy that there are two things that are doing it. There are other things, other properties that are maybe playing with this as well. Right. But like the idea that it is a beloved IP that then is being remade and retold in a almost one-to-one way with a slight deviance, and then like people are aware of that within the world of the thing is just really crazy. And so like with the end of remake, first of all, that Sephiroth fight rips.
Yeah,
right?
that's good stuff.
I'm playing it, and I know that the game cuts off at a certain point because there's another one coming, right? So it kind of like about halfway through, I was like, I guess we're not leaving Midgar, right? Like we're just not. This is the whole first game is Midgar. That's kind of interesting. And then we get to the end there, and I mean, you know, Aerith knows that she dies at some point. Mm-hmm. Like she knows that. Sephiroth knows he loses, right? And then we see the coda at the end with Zack, right? And Zack die. Like it's like is in you get his story in Crisis Core. So then now that he opens the game, how spoilery are we being? I haven't like played much of it.
We are gonna spoil. So first of all, if you haven't played Remake and you don't want that spoiled, this may be a good time.
You've heard too much.
You've already heard too much, and you should go and you should shut this off earlier. But for Rebirth, we're gonna spoil. I'm gonna say the first like 5 hours because I want to get to the point when we can talk about maybe what more the loop is going to feel like in this game. Because I feel like that's where I'm at right now, where I'm doing jobs and I'm doing quests, and it's it's becoming more of a video game than it starts.
Yes. So, I mean, it starts with playable Zach.
Yeah.
And you're like, what even is this part?
Yeah.
Right? This is nuts. This is like wild stuff.
And there's a guy who's doing the news. And I'm thinking, is he the main character of this game?
Yeah, is this going to be like The Post or something, but about Final Fantasy VII? We're going to be playing these like hard-boiled journalists, like trying to like expose the misdeeds of Shinra and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It already takes a different path already, and it hasn't really presented itself much in the main narrative, but I'm sure it'll come to a head at some point where there's going to be major differences at some point. Because it also ends, the first one, Remake, ends with the unknown journey will continue. So you have to think from that it is going to just be maybe wildly different.
Yeah, I mean, it already kind of is.
Yeah.
I mean, even just with like kind of like at this point, we know of like 3 timelines. There's like the original timeline,
yes,
the remake timeline, and then this one kicks off with like Zach's alive and everyone else is dead. It's like, wait, what? Like, what is happening? Like,
yeah, right.
So
and I felt like, because in the end of Remake, because I did recently replay that, and there's this moment where you like cross paths with yourself almost, like as you leave Midgar, Zach and Cloud are entering Midgar, and it's like this moment of like trading places. I did not expect though this game to open with like everyone dead, because I was like, oh, that's great. That makes actually a lot more sense that like they died in that timeline, and then in this timeline they're alive, and that's also cleaner because you don't want 2 of everyone running around.
No,
probably not. There was this narrative going around when the Remake game came out that like, oh yeah, this game is like all of Midgar, and that's most of Final Fantasy VII anyway, so that's great. And I remember scratching my head being like, but that isn't most of Final Fantasy VII. Like that is not, that's half of one disc of Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, it's the first like 5 to 10 hours. Like, but
so there's a lot
blown
more
out
of the game. Like there's a ton more to see, and I'm excited to see that narrative kind of change, because it's like now people are going to get to like be reminded of like all these great set pieces that you encounter throughout the game. I did not play the demo. Did you fellers?
I did.
Okay. What is in the demo? Is it just the Nibelheim stuff?
It's just that section, yeah. And then I was actually a little upset because they also added I think, is it Juon?
They added another bit. I didn't play. I only played just the first chapter section. But
because it said that the Junon section doesn't transfer over because they omit some things from the demo because it would be spoilers, I guess. But with the Nibelheim section, you can skip that portion in the main game. But it's like I guess I was like, oh, I didn't realize it would be the first thing you do.
Right.
And so that was interesting. But then I guess I heard that they changed some things from the demo in the main thing. So there's like a slight change or something. And I had skipped it, and then I had heard this.
Oh no.
That there are some like emotional beats that are omitted in the demo, and I was like, I wish I knew that,
right?
Because I would have not skipped it. I would have just played it again.
Yeah, I didn't play the demo, and it alerted me right away.
Yeah,
that I didn't get the items from the demo, and that's not a good way to start a game when you're already like,
that feels
I'm
bad.
behind.
You're actually missing some items now.
Yeah. Hey,
sucks to
my
suck.
guy.
Yeah,
I did get to collect my beautiful summons though from the. That's the only thing that so far has kept from the previous save is just that you beat it and you have these two.
Well, did
these two
you also
summons.
do the previous DLC? Because that's something else I didn't talk about
Right.
it during the What You Playing segment, but just just on this past week, like over the course of 2 days, I finished the intermission DLC. And let me tell you,
Yeah, it's great.
that was so much fun. Yuffie was so fun to control. Like I hope I get to
Yuffie is
play
great.
as her
Yeah.
again in this game. I assume so because she's in the trailers, but it's like,
yeah.
oh man, like that was so much fun.
Missed Yuffie in the original game. Got to spend a lot of time with Yuffie in the DLC, and can't wait to put her in the party again.
Oh, you didn't get her in the original game? That's funny. Did you
No.
get Vincent?
No.
Oh wow. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Vincent was like
they're really missable.
They're easy to miss. Yeah. Vincent was like every young middle school kid's like absolute edgelord fantasy.
Yeah.
Like of like, oh I got it. He's the best. He's a vampire.
He's like Shadow the Hedgehog, but a guy.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, so this game starts out and like you get to play through that big Nibelheim section after you do the Zack stuff, which is the Zack stuff. Where at least where I'm at, it's still a big question mark. You know, you get to see some stuff, but it doesn't really explain anything else. Like what that if we're gonna keep cutting back to him, is it gonna be like a or is it we pick up with him later with the crew or I don't know, but. I did like all the Nibelheim stuff quite a bit. It was like great to relive all those moments. I had just played through that whole section in Crisis Core as well.
Oh wow.
But in that game it's all from Zach's point of view. But in this one it's like that strange sort of. I guess this is a big spoiler, and maybe we won't say it, but let's just say they subvert some of that story later on in the game, the Nibelheim story. But yeah, like I brought up Zengen earlier as like this guy who again is like very minor, very like you don't like they don't give him a lot in the original game, but like they do like a full on goofy sketch comedy thing with him in this, and I'm just like, yeah, more of that. Like I really love where if this feels like it almost feels like Disneyland or something. Like that's how I would even describe Calm. It's like when you're running around there and you run into a character you've sort of seen before. Like it just feels like you're in Disneyland where they're celebrating everybody. They're trying to make everyone a thing, and yeah, that element of it I think is really smart because it would be really easy to just write around those characters, but to incorporate them in such a cool way. I'm like, dang! Give me more Zangan, baby.
Give me Zangan.
Yeah, put him on my team. Put him in my party.
Make him such a big part of it that he's in my team now.
Make him kill Aerith.
Yeah.
So you play through this opening section in Calm, and then you're kind of ejected out into what's called the Grasslands, which is kind of like your big first open world-ish quest area.
Yeah.
And the first thing I noticed about this game, just in general, is that it plays a little different than that remake. Yeah, have you guys noticed that? Like the camera's pulled a little farther back.
Yeah.
The action's a little different, and definitely the way Cloud navigates his environment is pretty wild, actually. He's
that nice roll.
Yeah, he's climbing up mount. It's a weird thing because you can't always climb stuff, but you can climb a lot of stuff.
Jump down off big mountains. That's what I love. And I'm like, oh shoot, that's too far. And then he just does it. I'm like, oh no, great, cool.
Yeah,
I forget he's a soldier. He
fine.
can jump super far. This is great.
Yeah.
So are you guys pretty hot on this? All the gameplay stuff, or is there anything? There was something about remake. I think because it was such a contained thing, I sort of miss that like polish, that extra polish. But I just don't know how you do it any other way than they're doing it now, which I think is still great,
Yeah, I mean, having just finished remaking stuff, it like feels weird to have like an opinion about this because I was like, I just got here.
Yeah.
But I was starting by the end of it. But I mean, before you get to like the very end of remake, I was starting to get a little claustrophobic in Midgard because I just saw so much of it.
Yeah.
Like it was going past a lot of the same parts over and over again. I was like, okay,
Sure.
I think I think I'm ready to be out of here. So like just truly to be anywhere else, I'm like, this is great. This is really, really great. And I have the benefit of not having to wait in the same way that people, maybe finished remake at launch and haven't revisited since. So I it just like is like a continued experience to me. It's just disc 2. I'm in disc 2 now. So that's like, it feels good. And I like the combat. I still really like the combat. I'm also really bad at games. Like I started it on normal and was like having a hard time. And I was like, what am I?
Nah, I'm not trying to impress.
What, am I the king of England?
Yeah.
Turn it down immediately.
I literally said, who am I? The king of England?
Only the king of England gets to play on normal.
Yeah. But like, I think, I was trying to take down. I probably could put it back up because the reason I turned it down was I was trying to take down the Titan summon in Chadley's thing, and I just don't think I'm actually leveled enough for it yet.
Yeah,
that one scales. That one scales.
Yeah.
Up.
It does.
It does say that. Like in the simulator, some things are set levels and some things say scale. So even if you scaled up or leveled up, it should be just as high.
I'm gonna just have to get in there and really give it a try.
I hit a wall with that Titan guide as well, but did you all know that in the area where they're offering a new summon, you can find its shrine?
Mm-hmm.
And that drastically reduces
I think
the difficulty of
2 or 3 shrines in each area. Because when you load into the simulator, it shows it says full strength and it has like 2 more levels below it. And so like I found the first shrine. I haven't tried to fight Titan again. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to find all 3 shrines because and the trade off is as you find shrines, not only does it make it easier to beat, but if you once you have the materia, I think it also levels it up, like it gets stronger. So the shrines help you 2 ways. It helps it make it easier and it upgrades your the strength of the summon. So pretty sick.
Yeah. I found the first one and went right back and grabbed him right away, no problem.
Okay.
Whereas he was literally impossible.
The first time I went for like 6.5 minutes, and I was just like, his health is only down this far. I'm like, dang it, like that was not.
Yeah, I was like, damn, I was not familiar with your game. You're really strong, Titan.
Yeah. How are we feeling about all the side quests and stuff? Like, I'll say this about the remake. Especially after replaying it a second time, it was that side stuff is, it's fine the first time, but the second time you really wanted to skip it because it's like finding cats and stuff in the
yeah. I did a lot of them just kind of like because I was just having so much fun in the world. I was like, I'll just do as much of these, and then I accidentally failed to because I just progressed too far, and then I was like, well, I'm not doing any more of these. Like I did but then I looked up which ones am I supposed to do for like the best like story stuff, and I had done all those already. So like by the time I got to chapter 14 and there's like a bunch more that you can do, you're like, help me find these chocobos, help me find this, help me find that. I was like, I'm not finding any of this stuff. Yeah. I'm done. I probably would still be playing it if I was like still trying to find that stuff because that stuff becomes like a slog a little bit. But with this stuff, with these new ones, I'm just kind of like, I guess I'm just doing these. Like, I'll probably do them to a point.
I love how snappy they are. Like you can knock out so much so fast.
There's also like, it seems to be kind of a decent amount of variety in the gameplay. Like I just did one where I did a whole sneaking mission.
Yeah.
As Cloud, and I was like,
"Oh wow,
this is great! I'm doing a little Metal Gear Solid in my Final Fantasy."
Metal Gear?
Don't hate that.
Yeah.
Oh, a Sephiroth,
a materia to destroy Metal Gear.
Lightning.
Yes.
Solid Cloud. Cloud, we need you to Sector 7.
Dude. Come on, can't we get a post-credit sequence where Solid Snake just steps out of a portal? He's like, "What am I doing here?"
He's like, "I'm in this too."
Yeah, and now I'm in this.
Yeah,
Colonel, what's a Nibelheim Chocobo doing here?
And then Aerith calls him up and he's like, have you seen Final Fantasy VII Advent Children? And just tells it like a bunch of details about the movie. And you're like, okay, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, man. We rewatched that for a podcast we did last week. And
I just saw it. Yeah.
Oy, oy, oy.
Not good. Not good.
Not good stuff.
Interesting. But not good.
Yeah.
I'm I'm not a huge side quest guy,
Sure.
right? Like, I think maybe that's just a like, is there time? Is there time for like that? Like everybody's lives are busy. I'm like, I'm already playing so many games. Do I have time to do every side quest? So far, I'm really enjoying the ones that I've done. But I've also, I've been doing Queen's Blood.
Oh,
Yeah,
And
that-
everybody's been talking about
Yes.
Queen's Blood. Queen's
So
Blood is
good.
good.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's they really nailed it. Like those card games can sometimes be hit or miss, but we had a couple of great ones in the Final Fantasy series already. Like Triple
Mhm.
Triad was like a absolute gangbusters one, and this feels like that. It feels really great, and I feel like yes, I want to go get these cards.
Yeah.
You have a card? I'm like pointing and accusing everyone of having good cards.
Give me your
you know?
card.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Give me
even like playing
cards.
the intermission DLC this last week. They have what's the
Yeah.
game in there? It's like the Fortress one, like
Oh, yes. Fort
Condor,
Condor.
Fort
Yeah.
Condor.
Condor,
And I got so addicted to that. I'm like, this is only like a
It's great.
4-hour DLC, and I've spent 4 hours just playing Fort Condor with people.
It's really fun.
I'm sad it's not in Rebirth, because like the only place to play it is in the intermission DLC, because it's not in Remake and it's not
No.
in Rebirth. It's
Yeah.
just in like this DLC. It was so good. But I was very happy. Like Queen's Blood, I'm like, all right, this is great. This is
yeah.
a very fun and addictive game. I just
Yeah,
got
I ju- I-
there's
I'm-
the
I'm
one
re-
quest too. I was just gonna say like the side gigs, like they're bringing in side gigs to do get that super rare card back, and I was loving it.
I'm doing this.
I gotta do this right now. This is the mission I'm doing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I did the I got I think, are we all in like chapter 2 basically?
Yeah, I'm
Like,
in chapter.
I'm about
2
7 hours in towards.
Okay.
I've almost cleared out chapter 2, I think.
because I did the quest where I had to help find that chocobo, and then it was like, okay, now you can kind of go wherever you want. You can go to the next like main thing you're supposed to do, or you could go back to Calm. And now that the soldiers are gone, I was like, well, I'm for sure going back to play Queen's Blood.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going anywhere where there's not Queen's Blood right now. And there's a couple other things over there too that I'm doing and that I'm interested in, but it's I also love that you can swap out your party, like, not like on the fly, but like that you can do it at all. Like
Yeah.
that it's not just like tied to story right now at
Right.
this point, which is cool.
And your party seems to be all fighting alongside you regardless.
Yeah.
Too.
Mhm.
Like
So, like,
I've
on the
noticed
outer
Or at
that.
least
edge.
running around.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've noticed when I'm like in a fight, like if I don't have Barrett in my party, I'll look over and Barrett's still there shooting people, and I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, that's nice.
Yeah. Thanks, Barrett. Don't just
you,
stand there.
dude. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as we kind of wrap here, we should just kind of throw out some more stuff that we like about it. Like I'll say one thing. I really like how like in conversations with like NPCs that have a camera cut aspect where they're like cutting back and forth, they stage the characters behind you in such like a cool way.
Mhm.
Like you'll be talking to like the Chocobo guy, and then when it cuts back to Cloud, Red 13's just sort of like he's grazing on like some grass. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
sniffing something in the background. It's just like this little attention to detail is really going a long way with me.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the I'm sure this will be present in some of the other areas too, but I like the corkboard like side things, because I was I played Final Fantasy 16 and I was very, very into Final Fantasy 16, which I know not everybody was, but I loved it. And there's a nice board at the home base that you can go. It's always being refilled with stuff to do, and I'm like, this. I like this. This is nice. The music's obviously amazing.
So good.
Yeah. Wow.
It's also like, now that we're outside of Midgar, there's a chance to like see like plants and like other animals and stuff, and like and other the enemy variety already has been really interesting and fun. So I like seeing little freaks running around and fighting little freaks.
Love little freaks.
But it's gorgeous. It's just like gorgeous to look at. I'm playing on performance mode.
That's the only way to play.
Yeah,
You're a
it's
bad
like it
man
just
if you
looks
play
a little better.
otherwise.
It
Yeah.
starts you out in graphics mode, and
Yeah.
I was having I was also a little high because I was like,
Yeah.
okay, let's do it.
Jeremy.
Let's really go for this.
Really,
let's really get a
Jeremy?
vibe going. And I couldn't tell if I was like trailing or if the game was just kind of stuttering And I think it was just
There's
stuttering at times.
I think it was a little stutter.
It is
Yeah. But
stutter.
I would investigate your situation a little bit as well too.
Well, A/B testing.
Certainly didn't help.
No,
you know?
it certainly did not help. Yeah.
What if I was just like harsh, like, I don't know about that. Don't like
ouch.
hearing that, Jeremy.
Yeah.
That
Can you
sucks.
cut my track from this episode?
Yeah. I'm not trying to get arrested.
Yeah.
Real
Another
quick.
thing I really like is I guess just that collectible aspect of everything is sort of that dopamine hit of like a new materia, a new move, a new weapon, a new anything. Oh, I can craft this new item. Like I'm like suddenly like so excited about
Crafting.
that.
I keep forgetting about it, and that is so great.
Oh,
I would kind of kick myself because I went and spent a ton of money on potions. I'm like, I have all this material. I could have crafted all those potions, but
Yeah.
now that when I remember it, that's such a nice feature.
Yeah. Fast travel's great, nice and fast on that PS5 solid state solid state hard drive.
Yeah.
Riding chocobos is pretty good. I do like that
really
whole
fun.
call them in. They just whoop.
Red
right there.
13 riding a chocobo is about the wildest thing I've
the
ever seen.
best.
But
Yes.
The absolute best. Yeah.
They like didn't have to have him do it.
No, he could have been running alongside you, but it's so much
Yeah.
better that he's like, ah!
awkwardly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the world is just so beautiful too. Like I mean, Matt already touched on it, but man, like that was the first thing I noticed. Like even just in the demo was, and granted the environment's different. Like Midgar is so clinical and just industrial and clean and flat because it's a city and a factory and whatever. It's an industrial building. So, but going into the world and now, I don't know what engine was this. This isn't Unreal Engine 5 yet, right? Is it Unreal 4? I'm not sure what engine they're
Ooh.
using. I'd have to look it up. But
Yeah.
either way, they're using it to like the max because it's like the amount of just tchotchkes just everywhere. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
from like in
Yeah.
rooms to like even just like the environment from like rocks and bushes and trees and grass. Like there's so much this beautiful assets all over the world that I'm loving. Like it just feels it so much more real. I don't know. It's just really cool.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I've been really enjoying the like physics engine of the game because like if you knock into like a chair or something, it just like goes flying. Like
Yeah.
it's like it just like blasts out of the way. There's one of the things for the Queen's Blood like tournament where you have to like beat 3 people or something to progress.
Oh, yeah.
There's this one like person that you have to fight and she's like behind a bunch of boxes and you kind of just like have no choice but to go through them and she's like, you knocked over my boxes. It's like, okay, this game is hilarious. This is so funny.
So
Yeah. That was a kind of a surprising moment of like, it's like a meta joke of like,
Yeah.
isn't it wild how these boxes fly across the room when you barely touch them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. I just don't know. For me, in terms of my Venn diagram and like nostalgia, and like whether or not I think it's good or not, it's like right there and like, oh, this is perfect. This is exactly. I don't know if I would want anything different. I don't know if I have really any complaints either.
Yeah.
Any gripes? I guess like.
not yet. I mean, once we put more hours into it, it'll be interesting to hear like,
Yeah.
all right, this is now a slog. Like this needs to be done. But
Repetitive,
at this point, like, 7 hours in, I'm like, I'm doing everything. I'm 100%ing this game. Like I'm
Yeah.
loving every moment. But yeah, we'll see when I'm like 30 hours in how I'm feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
Folks, we did it. We did our first impressions coverage of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I mean, yeah, it's like the thing we've all been waiting on for so long, and now it's here. And enough said, right? Garrett Morlang, thank you for joining us. Matt Apodaca, thank you for joining.
A pleasure.
Garrett, where can people find you? What do you want people to know?
What do I want them to know? I want them all to know that you're awesome, And
Oh, wow.
you know what? You are special, and you deserve that coffee. Go out and get that coffee. I think you should get that. treat yourself.
Yeah, you should go out and get a coffee.
But you can also find me online. We do as Jeremy mentioned earlier, I host a podcast, Super Gamer Boys, with me and my buddy Adrian. You've probably heard Adrian here on the show in the past. He's always hanging out with Jeremy. They're just best buds. I think Jeremy's trying to steal Adrian from my show. I don't like that. There's a little bit of
he's great. He's funny.
animosity
He's
there.
on. Garrett's is like Adrian, one step below Adrian, I would say.
Oh, that's really mean.
Yeah. I would say Adrian, Garrett,
Yeah.
Matt.
Yeah, of
Oh,
course.
cool.
Way high.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Okay.
Kidding, of course. Garrett, we did miss you on that Crisis Core episode.
It's all good. It's all good. It's
we
been a
did
minute
a
since I
podcast
played it.
about Crisis Core, like not about 2 years ago, maybe. It's like
Oh yeah, you joined us on our Super Gamer Book Club, our other show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
was a
That was
lot.
fun.
I didn't get to do Crisis Core, so I'm gonna have to do that at some point to complete my. And then I guess maybe find a copy of Dirge of Cerberus.
buddy, I
don't
got
know.
you. I got you
hell yeah.
covered with that. Don't you worry.
But yeah, we have a weekly video game podcast. So Super Gamer Boys, find it on all podcast services, over on YouTube. We stream on Twitch three times a week. One night with the episode and 2 nights is playing games. Come join us.
Perfection. Matt Apodaca, where can people find you?
You can follow me on where am I? I guess on social media at Matt Apodaca, just my name. And you can check out the podcast Get Played over on the Headgum Network. And we just did a big 3-hour Baldur's Gate 3 episode. We don't normally do big long ones like that, but that one sort of did require it. But check that out. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/getplayed, where we have all the ad-free back catalog and our show, Get Animated, where we talk about anime, not unlike Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Right. Or what? I want to kind of tease this out though. What anime are you guys covering right now?
Actually, we just finished Pluto. This coming week, we're watching. We watched Tekken the motion picture.
Oh, great! Yeah.
Which kind of sucks, but we watched it and recorded like a live commentary over it. And then I think we're gonna be watching the show called Solo Leveling, which is supposed to be great.
Yeah. That rocks. Yeah, check all that stuff out. You can also follow me on Twitter at Ocarina of Crime. You can follow the show on Twitter at VGA Comedy Show. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/SuperNPCRadio, where you can find a lot of bonus content from the makers of this show. Call Me By Your Game, Reactivators, Inside Video Games Classic with July. We have a brand new... Our poll is up right now to vote on our new games club that we'll be covering. So I was able to pick the theme this time, and I picked first-person shooters with a story. So the nominees are BioShock, Dishonored, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, Doom Eternal, and...
I know what the other one is.
What is it?
Is Titanfall 2.
Yes, Titanfall 2! Yeah!
Okay. All right.
I just happened to see I saw Connor's post and I was like, oh,
Yes.
I fell off of Titanfall 2, but I did love it. I would finish it.
It's incredible.
it's great.
I would be happy if any of those games got voted on. So yeah, if you wanna partake in that, you wanna have a hand in what game we cover next, go over to patreon.com/SuperNPCRadio. We will see you next week with non-Final Fantasy VII related content for all of you non-perverts out there who have been just waiting for this month to get over so we can talk about, regular stuff. It'll be next week. We love you. We thank you. Bye-bye.